the Italian Football Podcast.
Let's do this profile then on Samuele Ricci. Samuele Ricci, who was the breakout star, let's say, of this win against France in Paris. His first competitive start for the Italy national team, only his third cap for Italy. He was absolutely magnificent. So he's 23 years old. He's a central midfielder, very complete midfielder, very tactically versatile in the midfield. I mean, he can play as a holding midfielder, almost like a regista, like he was in this game. But he can also play as a mezzala, which he's often played for Torino. But he is quite complete. He's good technically, he covers the ground, he's good positionally, he can tackle and duel, but he can pass well. He can do a bit of everything. He's well built physically, he's over 6 foot. He's got personality, which we saw against France. He always wants the ball to take responsibility. Very, very complete. The only thing really missing, I think, in terms of completeness is he doesn't score enough, and he's not enough of a goal threat in terms of goals and assists. But in terms of like basic attributes, technically and physically, and like probably even mentally, I think he ticks pretty much all the boxes. Don't you say, Nima?
I absolutely love this little guy. He's not little, but I call him a little guy because he was a little kid when I discovered him at Empoli. He is from Tuscany. He's born near Pisa. And he came to Empoli in 2017 when he was just 16 years old, and of course at Empoli he found the perfect environment, and it's funny because even though he's been his role on the pitch, he's been compared to Sandro Tonali or Pirlo in terms of being a mezzala or regista, he's on the record as saying that his idol or his inspiration is Ronaldinho. I think he's more Jorginho than he is any of those players, if I'm going to make any comparisons, and I don't really like doing these comparisons. He's the secondary assist man. He's not one that will score lots of goals and assists, but he's the one that makes that secondary assist before the goals or assists are made. I think he's got an incredible football IQ. I love how patient he is with the ball. I really, really, really like him. And he also has a very good, he can shoot from distance. He really does.
But unlike Jorginho, he's physical. He can be physical as well.
Yes,
he competes, doesn't he? Whereas that. And he's obviously I'm not saying he's quick, but he can get around the pitch.
He has dynamism.
Whereas Jorginho can't get around the pitch. Obviously, that's always been his weakness. That a bit like Lobotka, over short distances, he's very good in tight spaces. But I think Ricci is good in tight spaces. But what I mean is that he's good over. He can get across the pitch, which is important, I think, and that's something we obviously were lacking in the Euros. We were lacking pace and legs, let's say, in the team. And a very, very, very impressive performance for Ricci. And he, like you said, he started his career at Empoli, who have an amazing youth academy to develop so many talented youngsters in the last years. I mean, just from their academy, I mean, Fazzini, Baldanzi, Aslani, Hamid Traore, and then if we're going further back, players like Di Natale, Montella. I mean, these are just the academy players, but then we're not even talking about the young talents that have kind of passed through and become stars thanks to Empoli. In recent years, we're looking at Benacer and Vicario and Parisi. I mean, that's just 3 recent examples. So he's just another, isn't he? From Empoli.
He is. And Alessio Dionisi coached him in Serie B, and he was actually named the player of the Serie B of that season when they won promotion.
Yeah.
So Empoli and Atalanta, Italy should really thank these 2 clubs for giving Italian players a chance, and not just giving Italian players a chance, but creating an environment where young Italian talented players can express themselves, can play themselves, can improve, and take the next step. When he moved to Torino, and I think together I think this is his 3rd season, but that duo Ilic and I love that. I honestly think that right now, watching those 2 play in central midfield is probably what I enjoy the most about the Serie A. just the way that they complement each other in central midfield is just truly wonderful to watch.
Yeah, no, they are definitely two players that are set for bigger clubs, and that raises the question of kind of what is the future for Ricci.
If there's
He's
any club
he's
screaming for him, it's Milan.
Well, that's. I'm glad you mentioned them because Milan did try to sign Ricci when he was at Empoli before he joined Torino, and they were again heavily linked. I don't know how concrete the interest was, but they were heavily linked with him at Torino, even going into this summer. Not so much during the summer, but kind of like earlier on in the year, like end of last season when they were looking ahead to this summer. He was linked to Milan. Obviously, eventually they've gone for Fofana. Time will tell on how well Fofana does. He was horrendous for Fofana in this game, and Ricci outplayed him in this game. So I'm not going to judge on one game,
Well,
but
Inter as well. I mean, Çalhanoğlu ain't getting any younger, and if
Inter and Napoli have been linked with
yeah,
him.
yeah,
Beppe Marotta is reportedly a big fan, but obviously the big one this summer was Lazio. Lazio tried to sign Ricci this
yeah,
summer. They had an offer of 18 million rejected,
yeah.
and Cairo, the Torino president, was asking for 25 to 30 million. But having said that, though, Ricci's contract runs out in 2026. So that
Please
makes
don't
it
sign
pretty
a
clear.
contract extension. Please don't sign a contract
Well,
extension.
that's what I was going to say. It's pretty clear. He either signs a contract extension between now and next summer, or he's going to leave. That's
Please,
obvious.
footballing gods, please hear my call.
Yeah.
Two things. Ricci, don't sign a contract extension with Torino, because otherwise Cairo will sell him to the Premier League, which is my second thing I want to ask you of. Please do not go to the Premier League. Go to Spain, go to France, go to Germany, stay in Italy. Do not go to the Premier League. Please, God.
The thing is with Ricci is you wonder after a performance like this on the global stage, everybody would have seen this win, this performance. Whether is there the risk of him doing a Calafiori where this was the opportunity for the Serie A clubs to sign him this summer, and now his price is going to skyrocket. I mean, I think there's less chance of that because the Euros is such a huge stage. It's a tournament, whereas UEFA Nations League qualification group games are not that, and nor is Serie A. So I think that and also with his value of his contract running down, which wasn't the case with Calafiori, I think that probably eliminates that. But Serie A teams, the point is that Serie A teams have to act before the Premier League teams come in, because once they come in, then it's game over, basically. And that's why
even if he went to bloody Spain, I'd rather see him go there because I think that kind of football suits him better.
I want to see him go to a step up to one of the bigger Serie A teams, and that's why again, listen, it's one game. We can't get carried away. We need to see him doing this over. I want him to stay in the team now for Italy. I want him to get a run of games. I'm glad Spalletti gave him the chance because these are the kind of players that Spalletti should be testing and bedding into the national team. If they don't work, they don't work. But we're better off trying them than going back to known players that we know are not good enough. Cristante. There's just no point going back to a Cristante. We know he's not good enough. So what is the point? You might as well test out a player who is a bit of an unknown quantity, maybe hasn't had the chance to play on a high level. And it's a case of, play him. If he's not good enough, he's not good enough. But at least you've tried, rather than playing a player like Cristante where they're not good enough and you're not going to learn anything and you're not going to progress. And that's why I'm glad Spalletti played him. And I think, let's hope that he gets a run in the team now, and we'll see, because Italy really could do with. We've said, haven't we, that Italy need a regista. We are missing a regista. We don't have, even though the talented centre midfielders that we do have, like Barella, like Tonali, they're not registas. They're not natural registas. That's what we need. We need it, and then Ricci can be that man potentially, can't he now? So. I'm excited and hopeful to see where Ricci goes from here. I just think that from Milan's point of view, you see a performance like this and you think, why didn't they go for him this summer? You went for Fofana again, another foreign player. Again, time will tell with Fofana, but right now after this performance, people are going to start asking the question, why did you sign Fofana instead of Ricci?
Yeah, but that would be too. That would be a little bit too reactionary, wouldn't it?
It would be, yeah. It would be. I'm only posing the question. I'm not.
Come on.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying that's what I believe. I'm just raising that question. That's all.
Hmm.
But I hope. I hope that it's right, because if it's right, it means that Ricci goes on to have a great career and become a mainstay of Italy and join a bigger club. Then yeah, I absolutely hope that.